Yo, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Zaud. You already know what time it is. The most hated, most controversial channel. Well, not the most hated, because I think it's Hassan Campbell. Some things he say, you know, is cool, but there's other things he say, you know what I mean? But that's not to bring his name up. That's just to say that I'm one of the most hated channels on YouTube. But for the people that come to the channel, understand a lot of times it's gonna be controversial. I got a lot of haters, a lot of good people that fuck with me, but I got a lot of haters that feel like, you know, they're upset at some of the things I do. I don't know if it tickles them the wrong way. Maybe, you know, something happened to them as a youth. Not to downplay, you know, anybody's experience in that, but it's just like they take it so personal. But understand, if you hit subscribe and a notification button, most of the things that come out of my mouth will be somewhat controversial. It's set when even politics, you know what I mean? But I try not to go into politics as much because the world is going to shit, and you know we're following along with it. But that's besides the point. For the people that came to the channel for music, understand that the music will continue to drop. I will be doing more videos, but understand this, that all ties into what I'm gonna tell you right now. Let me just get into it real quick. There's a description. In the description, there's gonna be a link to a petition basically about turn signals in California to make things a lot safer, because some people, family have lost their life due to people turning at the wrong time because they weren't able to see the turn signal. But basically, it's something that's gonna benefit us all. And for the most part, just to be 100% with you, anytime there's 5,000, you know, 5,000 people, you know, sign up for that petition, you know, I'll be able to, it'll help towards me putting out another music video, you know, get my studio time and so on and so forth. So that's just full disclosure, you know what I mean, for the people that like transparency, you know what I mean. But that's besides the point. What I'm going to get into right now is basically what the title is about. You know, I did a video on a dude that got his chain snatched. And then, you know, you had some cats that really vibed with him. It was like, damn, you know, the ones that really understand how the process works with you checking in different cities. And understand, when I say checking in different cities, it's not to say that you necessarily gotta check in, but if you're out there on some thug shit, you know what I mean, and you might be out there trying to get your money, yeah, you're gonna want to talk to somebody, because plain and simple, just walking up in somebody's city like you some type of god will get you smacked. If you think I'm bullshitting, just look at all these artists that are getting killed in different states, feeling that they can pretty much push the way they want because in their cities or their states they're gangsters, but it don't necessarily work in every other place you go to. Like when you go to Vegas, I said, if you're on the strip finding dandy, you can find the plugs easy as far as like who you need to talk to. But once you leave that strip, they cannot guarantee your safety because it's not the strip. The strip has its, you know, but it's a no man's land as far as like, you know. But I'm not gonna get into Vegas politics. Now, if you go into the inner cities of Vegas, understand there's a good part, and then there's some parts you don't necessarily want to be at unless you know somebody. When I went to Vegas, me and my son went off the strip, but we were skating in a brand new Mustang and sliding. I didn't really stop at no stores, you know, and that's because I still was thugging it, you know what I mean. But it's, if you're just a regular cat, it's gonna be absolutely no drama. You might get robbed because you're a regular person, or you know, anything can happen if you feel like you want to be chesty. But you know, so basically the whole thing was about him going out of state, and you know, he was a wannabe rapper, you know what I'm saying. And that's not to downgrade him, but it's just like, I mean, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying. But his chain was fake, it got snatched, his money got taken, and that's plain and simple. Now, people getting upset at the fact that I won't say his name, it's just something that I've been taught as a youngster growing up. You don't talk about it. Plain and simple. Like, if a dude got his chain snatched, it's not on me to really talk about it. If we're beefing and I snatched it myself and I felt like I wanted to out myself, then yeah, I would point it out and be like, I took that fool's chain. But that's a different stilo. I'm already at an age to where that really don't make too much sense. Now, people might come on here and be like, oh, well, you did drill. That doesn't make no sense. But understand, I've did that. And people still try to press me, and I press back. So I may not be spinning blocks, but I will spin it if you do something to me. Now, with that being said, man, that's all I want to say when it comes to that. The chain got snatched. I got it back. It was fake as hell. And the dude that got his chain snatched, I'm not going to out him. Plain and simple. That's how I was brought up. We don't do that unless I took it myself. I'm not going to speak on, oh, this fool. I'm not going to out the fool that took it. It's just, it is what it is, dog. The dude that got his chain snatched know what it is, and that's all that really matters. Now, that's just to say that, you know what I mean? Understand, we live by two sets of different rules. A lot of this social media now, they expect you to out people, because a lot of time people are chasing clout, or they want, you know, everybody feels like they should know. They have to know who did it. It's your right. It's my right as a human being to know exactly what you do. No. That's maybe the way social media works now, and maybe the way you've been brought up. But if you were brought up in my time, shit stays secret. You know what I'm saying? If it stays secret. So if a person got his chain snatched and whatever, he just got his snatched. Now that all ties into what I want to talk about after I got that out the way. The whole morals, you know what I mean, and the whole code of conduct and how people see it nowadays is so convoluted with people's, you know, sidestepping what should really be the rule, the norm. Back in the days, it went against laws to say certain things, and now it's out there in the open. People, you know, like to mix it up with politics and prison. Now, understand this: when it comes to prison, as long as you're not talking about personal business on how shit is conducted, how shit goes here. It's like if I got on here and told you exactly how drugs went into prison, regardless of how many people knew, I would be in clear violation of those rules. Now, telling you not to go to prison and how to avoid going to prison, those are something somebody of my age should be telling the youth regardless. Now, there's a lot of people, it's going to be a hard pill to swallow. Oh, wow, you talked about the South and the North. I told you that's none of my business. Plain and simple. Whatever goes in between South and North, that's not my business. I'm no longer in prison, so it really doesn't pertain to me. I know on the street it's a lot different. A Northanger runs into me, 9 out of 10, it's on and popping, because mostly from his side, I could care less. But, you know, a lot of them are going to feel some type of way because they feel like, you know, but that's regardless. You know, I'm not gonna go into that. That's hypothetical. You know what I mean? But basically, in this game, man, it's like it's been so watered down that it's like people feel they should be able to get away with things. People feel like they no longer have to respect their elders or their OGs because, you know, maybe they've had a bad experience. But a lot of times it's just an excuse for a person to act bad. It's like we make excuses why we should break the law. We know it's wrong, but we make excuses. Oh, I had a hard upbringing. I grew up in this particular area and was surrounded by this. My mom was a crackhead, or my dad was this. I grew up in all them scenarios. I grew up, most of my family, as far as like on certain sides, have all been to the pen. Some of them are lifers, but it's just, you have a choice to do what you need to do. You have a choice to go out there and do bad, or, you know, you got a choice to go out there and do good. There's so many people that not turned out not to be a product of their environment. They grew up in hard neighborhoods, but they made it out because they realized they didn't want that life. And that's why this whole video is basically, you know, just to tell you the little thing about the chain, and just to break it down, that people need to get back on board with this whole respect your elders. Like I said, man, you don't have to necessarily vibe with a guy telling you what to do, because I don't go to my neighborhood and tell my younger homies what to do. In fact, I don't even tell them to call me big homie. They do it because they feel like they, you know, out of respect. But I'm like, hey, homies are homies. You know what I mean? But if I can give you insight into a better way of getting it, then I'm going to do that. I could easily be like, you know, spin a block on these fools, you know what I mean? And once again, people will cry on us, because people cry on us straight out, you know what I mean? But I mean, that's not to get into that. But like, I try to teach my homies in a way when I am around them, because I don't go to my neighborhood all the time. But when I do, I like to talk to my homies about the come up, about making better ways, how making better decisions, or not being so stuck on the block 24/7. Yeah, you know, there's some people that feel like that's where you need to be, but that only leads one way, you know. And homies have known that I did a long time, and I stayed doing time since a young age. So it's like, you know, who you gonna listen to? This motherfucker that ain't never been nowhere is a bum? Or you gonna listen to this dude that got out and never went back and changed this whole shit around? Now understand, there's still controversy because I still got a lot of hate from a lot of people, and there's people that just don't like me because I am who I am. Some people don't like me because I'm a black Southerner. Some people don't like me because they feel they wish they could say what I say and still be able to push the way I push. Some people wish they had the type of juice, as far as like to have that type of love from my homies, you know what I mean, as far as like because there's a gang of Southerners I run into and we vibe, you know what I mean, because it's they understand that I'm still holding tight to what was created. Like, I'm still holding tight to a lot of things. Now, as far as social media, yeah, as long as I don't get on here and say certain things, I'm good. You know, people can make you know, you go to prison and so on. Trust me, I don't need to go to prison for that to happen. Especially when you function with cats that, you know, that's all I'm gonna say on that. But yeah, you don't have to be in prison for that to happen. So for the people that like to put out fairy tales like the monster up under your bed, understand that's absolutely bullshit, and a lot of you cats ain't never been nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Ain't never been nowhere. And if you're and if now you're starting to do time, then you got a whole different set of morals, because now prison is so, you know what I mean, it's like you're getting that new agenda. You know what I mean? When I win and people that went before me, the agenda was a lot more crucial. And that's why I hold tight to a lot of shit that I hold tight to, because I was, you know, I did grow up like that, and people did lace my boots a certain way. But that's beside the point. All I'm saying, man, is just respect your OGs. And if they teach you a wrong way, then fuck them. Don't listen to them. But for the ones that's trying to teach you something, don't push it to the side. And for the people that feel like they need to know absolutely everything, you don't need to know absolutely nothing. Just understand that there's some things that are just going to be beyond you. And you can go out on the street and research and be like, hey, whose chain did Zaud get back? Do that, like, you know what I mean? But don't expect me to divulge certain information, because it's just not going to happen. With that being said, like I said, this is a controversial channel for the people. Subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I will be back with something a lot different, but I just feel like I needed to address a few things. With that being said, I'm your boy Zaud, all over the place most of the time, but controversial as fuck. I'm about to get up and eat my fucking pupusas and let you feed my ass homies just going about your way, and I'm out.